This is KVUE News Daybreak.
We always ask ourselves, well, should we have known? Could this have been prevented?
The faces of hate, new images of the attackers in London, the message their mayor is sending to residents.
The Austin Police Organization wants APD to reconsider one of its policies. Why they say it's a tad confusing, and how they think a change will help fight terrorism.
And another ride-sharing service packing up and leaving Austin. This morning, the message they sent to subscribers last night. Good Tuesday morning to you, and thank you for joining us for Daybreak. It is now 6 a.m. I'm Brian May.
And I'm Yvonne Nava. The rain is out of the way today. Let's send things over to Erica Lopez for the details.
Yes, a pretty impressive storms yesterday evening. Here's a look at the rainfall totals that we saw in the last 24 hours. Notice this green area for central Williamson and also Travis County. That was one of the storms that was the largest across the entire viewing area, and it did bring in beneficial rain for downtown Austin. Radar indicated just south of downtown over 2.5 inches, so pretty impressive. But we're waking up to mostly clear conditions this morning, a mix of sun and clouds throughout the entire day. A small 10% chance of some patchy drizzle this morning, mainly just because dew points are still on the higher side and close to the temperatures. But other than that, we're calling it a partly sunny day in store. Highs in the lower 90s, near average. I think it's going to be great for any outdoor pool plans today. Again, highs 92, a north wind anywhere from 10 to 15 miles an hour. And Avid has the latest on traffic this morning. Any accidents to talk about?
Actually, no incidents to report on this morning, so that is good news for you if you're heading out the door. This is a live look at I-35 at Palmer Lane and Mopac at Enfield. You can see here that construction is starting to wrap up this morning now that we've hit that 6 o'clock hour. So just make sure that you are traveling here at a 55-mile-per-hour speed this morning until it fully wraps up. I-35 northbound Buda to downtown, a 16-minute commute, 17 minutes Round Rock to downtown. Yvonne, Brian, back to you.
All right, Anavi, thank you so much. 6:02 is your time. 2 people are safe this morning after a fire ripped through their homes overnight. It broke out around 2:30 on Houston Street near Burnett and Koenig Lane in central Austin. The fire actually jumped from one home to another. It also damaged a car and a carport. Thankfully, no one was injured. The cause of the fire is under investigation.
Happening today, we may soon find out whether Governor Greg Abbott will call a special session. The governor holding a press conference later today. As KVUE's Corey Coffin reports, he's been hinting that he will bring the legislature back for another 30 days. Corey.
Governor Abbott spent yesterday in Belton, where he hinted to voters that he may call a special session to address rising property taxes. According to our partners at the Austin American-Statesman, while addressing the Republican audience, he said, quote, "I think there's one challenge and one problem that many Texans face that wasn't solved, and that is the incredible rise of property taxes in the state," end quote. He also suggested turning the power over to the people by giving them a vote on how much they believe they should pay for their own property. Now, Senate Bill 2 would have required voter approval for hikes of more than 5%, but it didn't make it past the House. Those against SB 2 said it wouldn't have done much to alleviate the problem because it didn't include school districts, which account for much of the property tax burden on owners. Now, Abbott didn't address the so-called bathroom bill or the sunset bill when hinting at a special session. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick has said that the bathroom bill is a top priority for him, while the sunset bill would have had to pass in order for certain government entities to continue operating. So that's another issue that lawmakers may look at. If Abbott does call a special session, it would last for 30 days and cost taxpayers an estimated $800,000. We'll find out in today's press conference at 2:30. Live at the Capitol, I'm Corey Coffin for KVUE News.
Corey, thank you. New this morning, one of Austin's local ride-sharing services saying farewell. Overnight Fare announced they will no longer operate in Austin due to a loss of business. The ride-sharing has been in Austin for about a year now. The news comes about a week after Uber and Lyft returned to Austin. They came back because the legislature passed a law prohibiting cities from regulating ride-sharing. That's the reason Uber and Lyft left Austin in the first place.
New information this morning on the London terror attacks. British authorities have now identified 2 of the 3 terrorists. As ABC's Lana Zach reports, one was previously known to authorities as a potential threat.
Authorities have known for years that 27-year-old Karam Butt desired strict Islamic Sharia law in Britain.
Someone had an ISIS-looking flag on them.
Why are you touching him for?
The suspected terrorist was even featured in a British TV documentary called the jihadis next door.
We always ask ourselves, well, should we have known? Could this have been prevented?
British authorities have now named 2 of the 3 suspected terrorists, but a British citizen born in Pakistan and 30-year-old Rashid Radouan of Libyan or Moroccan descent. Both men come from this East End neighborhood in London. On Saturday night, police believe they carried out their murderous intent. Watch as a restaurant manager holds the door against one of the knife-wielding terrorists, saving lives, but others would be lost. Among them, Canadian Chrissy Archibald and Londoner James McMullen.
While our pain will never diminish, it is important for us to all carry on with our lives in direct opposition to those who would try to destroy us.
That sentiment at the core of this nation's spirit and echoed by London's mayor.
As a proud and patriotic British Muslim, I say this: you do not commit these disgusting acts in my name.
British authorities confirmed that Karam Butt was in fact known to them, and a neighbor even called in a tip to an anti-terror hotline about his threats. And now the top counterterrorism official in Britain says that their strategy will radically change. Lana Zak, ABC News, Washington.
So I've really not got time to respond to tweets from Donald Trump. And we aren't going to allow anybody, whether it's Donald Trump or anybody else, to divide our communities.
This morning, the feud between President Donald Trump and London's mayor is escalating. On Twitter, the president criticized Mayor Sadiq Khan over what he said following Saturday's terror attack.
Londoners will see an increased police presence today and over the course of the next few days. No reason to be alarmed. One of the things the police and all of us need to do is make sure we're as safe as we possibly can be.
Seems the president took those comments out of context, writing, quote, at least 7 dead and 48 wounded in the terror attack, and Mayor of London says there's no reason to be alarmed. The president later called the mayor's explanation a pathetic excuse. ABC's John Carl pressed the White House about the comments.
The president directly misrepresented what the mayor of London said.
I don't think that's actually true. I think that the media wants to spin it that way. But
you think the mayor was saying there's no reason to be alarmed by an attack on his city? You think that's what he was saying?
After the critical tweets, the mayor is now renewing his call to the British government to scrap an upcoming state visit from President Donald Trump, saying, quote, we don't need to roll out the red carpet for him, end quote.
Well, the Austin Police Association wants APD to change policy so officers can shoot into moving vehicles while they're on patrol. The president of the Austin Police Association, Ken Cassidy, believes that changing this policy will help law enforcement fight terrorism. Right now, APD's policy states that firing into a moving vehicle will only be attempted by units specially trained in and equipped for this tactic. Cassidy says that usually means SWAT and not patrol officers. But he feels the policy creates big safety concerns. Several patrol officers have approached him about changing the policy, and it looks like APD is on board. Cassidy says Chief Brian Manley will change the policy within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Austin's mayor, one of hundreds of local leaders signing an agreement to uphold the policies in the Paris Climate Accord, despite the United States' recent withdrawal. Mayors of 125 cities, governors of 9 states, over 900 companies, and dozens of universities signed the agreement Monday. Mayor Steve Adler says Austin has recently increased the amount of solar energy we use and called for a further emphasis on wind energy and resource recovery.
And there's an update on that recall. Remember, we first told you about, I believe it was yesterday, even more people across Austin could be at risk for eating tainted tuna. We told you about the FDA issuing a recall after frozen tuna cubes from Indonesia tested positive for hepatitis A. Among other locations, the tuna had been sold at the Central Market on North Lamar Boulevard. But according to our partners at The Statesman, the New Braunfels outpost of Cisco, one of the country's largest food service distributors, is also on this recall list. That warehouse delivers ingredients to hundreds, if not thousands, of restaurants and retail establishments across Central Texas. So far, the company will not say which restaurants might have served this contaminated tuna.
Today, the 73rd anniversary of the Normandy invasion in France during World War II, also known as D-Day. On June 6, 1944, codenamed Operation Neptune, targeted the Nazis, is the largest seaborne invasion in history. At least 10,000 Allied troops were killed on the first day of the initial Normandy invasion. D-Day also a turning point in the war as it led to the total defeat of Adolf Hitler and his regime. Time now to check on our forecast here in Austin. The rain looks like it's gone for a while. Sunshine will be back. Good news, Erica.
That's right. Great weather to look forward to here in central Austin. Your current temperatures near average, and that's going to be the case not only for the start of our day into the afternoon and the next several days also. Right now, we're in the mid to upper 60s. Kingsland at 69, Burnet at 69 also. 70 for Austin and also at ABIA. Butte a degree cooler than that. And in the upper 60s for San Marcos. Luling, you're at 70 degrees, while LaGrange, you're the warmest for the eastern counties right now at 71 degrees. Here's how your rush hour is going to play out. For this morning, we're calling it a small 10% chance of possibly a light shower, maybe some drizzle on your windshield. That's just the high humidity that's in the atmosphere. But this afternoon, we will be in the clear, partly sunny skies out there, highs in the lower 90s. We're calling it 92 for your forecasted high here in Austin. Partly sunny and breezy at times with a north wind at 10 to 15 miles an hour. But we're talking lots of sunshine. I'll let you know how long we can expect this dry spell to last coming up.
Erica, you know that weather coming up for the weekend would have been great for some baseball around here, but it's not going to happen. The Longhorns baseball season came to an end last night in Long Beach. Texas picked a bad time to have one of their worst offensive games of the season. The Horns managed just 4 hits and 1 lonely run in a 2-1 defeat to Long Beach State. Long Beach advances now to the Super Regional round. They'll face Cal State Fullerton coming up this weekend. Also advancing to the Super Regionals, Texas A&M, TCU, and Sam Houston State. Remember that familiar tune? Well, Monday Night Football is getting new theme music this fall, and it is that familiar voice. Hank Williams Jr. will return. Williams, Are You Ready for Some Football? Opened Monday Night Football broadcast from 1989 to 2011. The first Monday night game this coming season will be September 11th. Saints face off against the Vikings. The Cowboys play a Monday night game September 25th. Texans' lone Monday night appearance will be in November. Something about Hank Williams singing that it's just tradition, right? Yeah. He was removed, remember, he made some critical comments about President Obama, and they removed him from that, but now he'll be back. And then who was in his place? Was that Faith? Was it Faith Hill? I don't even remember. Faith Hill, I think it was Faith Hill. I can't stay up that late to watch football anymore. Come on, you still watch. DVR it. Yeah. A data breach here in Austin that goes back nearly 4 years. The local doctor's office making the announcement and what to do if you've been impacted. Coming up.